From the KATC Weather Lab, here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back. Well, a summer-like day across Acadiana. Get used to it. We got more of the same, 3 more at the very least before we cool down as we get into Friday, Saturday. The front actually gets here Thursday with the one that we've been talking about, but we don't see the cooler air for about 24 hours after that. But the weekend looks good, and then we'll resume back to the normal late summer scenario, it looks like, as we go into next week. Tropics staying active beyond next week as well. More on that in just a bit. First off, though, let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening across the Bayou State. Very light easterly winds, generally fair skies, but if you look closely, you can find the isolated shower. We'll let it run one time again. Can you find the isolated shower? Yes, right here down by Marsh Island this evening, moving off to the west, not affecting anybody. But what this tells us, there's a little bit of instability in the atmosphere going into this evening. That will translate once again into tomorrow, so I do expect a few more showers to develop during the day tomorrow. But by and large, we'll start off with mostly sunny skies. More than likely some patchy fog as temperatures dip down to the dew points right around the upper 60s to lower 70s. You can see bigger storms back to the west. It's going to be a big run of heavy-duty weather across the lower Rio Grande Valley over the next several days. Meanwhile, off to the east, it's all about the tropics. Nothing brewing quite yet in the Caribbean, but this is the area I'm going to watch going into the first week or 2 of October. Then we get out into the Atlantic Basin. We have the very large, all-encompassing Hurricane Maria, but a lot of dry air wrapping into this system. So just a shell of the destructive storm it used to be, but it's a wind event, and it's going to be impacting the Outer Banks of the Carolinas going into late tonight and tomorrow. Farther to the east, look at this, a much smaller storm, but nonetheless a potent little hurricane. This is Hurricane Lee. Remember Lee? It developed into a tropical storm, was downgraded, moved into the North Atlantic, then got upgraded back to a depression late last week, then a tropical storm this weekend, and a hurricane. Now a pretty potent hurricane with 90-mile-per-hour winds. So we have Maria here. You can see the much smaller Lee right here, and here are the latest particulars on both of the systems. Hurricane Lee with 90-mile-per-hour winds. It's moving to the west-southwest, but this is going to move back out to sea. And then we have Hurricane Maria with all the pertinent information here. 80-mile-per-hour winds moving to the north at 7. Tropical storm warnings for the Outer Banks of North Carolina and the coastal counties, and then that system finally moving out to sea following the weakness, as we've been talking about, that Jose left behind. And you can see Lee's going to become a Category 2 and then eventually weaken as it moves into the North Atlantic with time. But the tropics still busy, and I think there's more to come down the line. Here's Hurricane Maria's wind field. So tropical storm force winds right here, 39 to 57 in this shade of yellow. So you're going to have winds 40, 45, high swells, tides coming up several feet, 2 to 4 feet. Hurricane force winds will be confined mainly east of the center of the storm tomorrow. And again, the radius of the more damaging winds up to 73 in this shade of orange. And then that system eventually moves out to sea. So let's take a look at the European model here. We'll show you the big picture with respect to the storm and how close it comes to the Outer Banks, and then kind of stalls a little bit and then finally moves out to sea. And then we'll open up the picture. We're going to be enjoying nice and dry weather going into the weekend, but this area to watch here in the Caribbean all the way through the Eastern Pacific, probably not only for the first week, but maybe for the first 2 weeks of October. We do think the tropics have more to offer in this very damaging year. Nice and quiet overnight tonight, a little patchy fog by morning. Then tomorrow it should see a few showers across the area. And then as we head into Wednesday, we'll be looking ahead to that frontal boundary that won't get here until it looks like about Thursday during the day. Not much shower activity, and with sunny skies and some compressional heating, we might even see highs in the mid-90s before we cool down for Friday. So pretty nice evening on tap. 71 your low tomorrow. Still quite warm. Sun and cloud mix out there with a few brief showers at 20% for tomorrow. And we'll keep it in the 20% range as we go into, that 10-day forecast doesn't want to come in. There it goes. Temperatures in the mid-90s going into Thursday, but cooling off into the mid-80s for the weekend. And more importantly, nighttime lows this weekend in the 60s, so enjoy it. Yeah. It won't last too long, and nothing really super cool in our immediate future at this point.
All right, thanks, Rob.